Rico. Tonight, we're fighting to save America's horses. I was just the keynote speaker at the American Equine Summit because our show has led the way in media coverage of horse issues, and we've celebrated some major victories. Right now, horse slaughter is effectively banned in the United States, and now there's a new move to ban American horses from being shipped to Canada for slaughter. Critics say most of the horses slaughtered in Canada come from right here in the U.S. This disturbing video is very graphic. We can only show you a couple of seconds, but this is what horse slaughter looks like. And I got to tell you, it's a lot more graphic than that. These sensitive animals are crowded into trucks and endure a hellish journey that ends in slaughter. Now, some reports say up to 100,000 American horses are shipped to Canada every year. Critics say many of these horses spend their lives as human companions first. Now, these were race horses, show horses, rodeo horses, draft horses, but once slaughtered, they become food for people. Well, now, a proposed law in Canada, and we have a lot of Canadians who watch the show, would severely limit horses that are not raised as food animals to be turned into meat for human consumption. You know, there was recently a huge scandal when it was discovered that meat from an Irish horse was contaminated with a veterinary drug known as bute that some reports claim can cause cancer in humans. Straight out to my two very special guests, Florida Senator Joe Abruzzo and Victoria McCullough, one of America's premier equine advocates. Victoria, first of all, I don't think that a lot of Americans are aware that American horses that have served us, that have been our companions, that have raced for us, are turning up on dinner plates everywhere from Europe to Japan. Do you think Americans should be shocked by that?
I do. I didn't know myself until 2008.
And let me ask you, why do you maintain that it creates a health risk to have horses that have been draft horses, race horses, show horses, being turned into horses that are eaten by people?
Because America doesn't grow horses for food. We're normally, historically, it hasn't been on our palate. So the horses that are going to slaughter are horses that have been used for service, for race horses, show horses, as you mentioned. But along with those is horses tend to have issues such as soft tissue damage. And they use an anti-inflammatory very much like we would. That inflammatory drug is called bute, is carcinogenic, and it's proven to cause cancer. And people aren't aware that that particular element is in these. So when we are bulking these amount of horses for the border, it's not a product that is agriculturally acceptable. And the FDA has a suggestion that all animals for human consumption, that bute is banned in this product, and that's one time. One injection would make that animal ineligible for the slaughter trade.
So many wonderful horses have ended up in slaughterhouses. Even champion racers, the famous Ferdinand, a beloved Kentucky Derby winner, ended up being killed in a Japanese slaughterhouse. And he's not the only one. Now, we're just showing you generic video of horses. We're not saying any of those particular horses were involved in any of what we're talking about. But we all love horses. Americans love horses. So, Senator Abruzzo, Joe Abruzzo, you and Victoria both went to Canada to fight for this bill in Canada that would severely limit our American horses that have served people getting shipped up there and slaughtered for food. Tell us why you're fighting for this.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us on the show. And here in Florida, we passed the bill, unanimous, Republicans and Democrats, called the Yvonne Rodriguez Victoria McCullough Horse Protection Act, that makes it illegal in Florida, a felony, if you abuse, abandon, neglect an equine. But if there is meat on the table in Florida in a restaurant, that restaurant will be shut down. So we took a very hard stance here in Florida. Victoria and I brought the fight to Capitol Hill with the help of the Vice President, the White House administration, key members in both the Senate and the House. We were able to get the defund language done this year. Now the next step is moving to our great partners and neighbors in Canada to educate them on the dangers of what could be in these horses and make sure that their population is not eating tainted meat.
Well, I want to say that the two people, audience, the two people you are looking at have probably done more to save horses than well, just about anybody, and they are backed by many, many horse advocates we've had on the show. I was just at the American Equine Summit, and both Victoria and I spoke, and, you know, we're speaking for voiceless animals. These beautiful creatures cannot speak for themselves, and that's why together we can do something to change this. Now, I want to tell all of our viewers in Canada, let your legislators know, very briefly, what's the name of the bill that they should say pass? Very briefly, Joe.
It is MP, Member of Parliament, Alex Adamanenko, I apologize, who has the bill. I don't know the bill number offhand.
C571.
C571. Victoria was on top of it.
C571.